Hello and welcome to the Knitmancy podcast. I am your host, Valentina. I am also not centered, so don't mind me not looking at the camera as I'm trying to make sure. My name is Valentina. I'm coming at you from just south of Richmond, Virginia. And yeah, we're here. We are in a different room, a room with better light. I mean, I have a window off to the side of me as well, as you can see it right there. I gotta get a curtain on this guy so that I stop. Yeah. It's like at some point I should probably get a mic. One day, probably. So yes, I am in a different room, and I just want to say all of my social media where you can find me down below, as well as all the show notes. I will link to Ravelry pages, but in case you, for whatever reason, are unable to use the current iteration of Ravelry, I also list the pattern name, the designer, as well as the yarns I use, as well as any other yarns I might show. All of it gets listed down below and then linked to my Ravelry project page. If you have any questions about any alterations or anything that I do like that, feel free to send me a DM. And yeah, I think I'll talk about this also a little bit more later on because we have some feels. So before we hop in to what I've been working on, I also want to add something that I have frogged. So the Anarchy socks. Really enjoyed the Anarchy socks, except for once I got to the heel flap. Because of how the pattern is written, it ends up with a lot of extra room right at the heel flap. And I mean, I could have finished the sock, but I wasn't going to wear it because there was all that extra room at the heel flap. And yeah, so I frogged it. It happens. I might attempt the pattern later on, adjusting a couple of things, including the depth of the heel flap, because a lot of my numbers weren't matching up as well. So yeah, that's been frogged. I will actually update that Ravelry page. Otherwise, that one won't be linked. So let me do a quick run through of the social media where you can find me before we really get into all the other knitting. It's only knitting at the moment. So you can find me on Instagram, on Ravelry, on Twitch, on Tumblr. You can find me on Twitter, but I don't post on Twitter. But I'm on Twitter in case, again, you want to hit up my DMs. So you can find, I will post these all down below as always. But as I'm sitting here trying to get comfortable in the seat. But the main ones, Instagram, it's Middle of the Madness. Ravelry, it is Knittermancer. Tumblr, there are two different ones, Knoll Princess and Knittermancer. It's all the same person. And on Twitch, you can find me Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 4:30, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm trying to figure out how I want to adjust my streaming schedule to add more time in. But for now, it's 2 to about between 4 and 5 o'clock. Depends on how long I can sit. Okay, that's done. Now let's get into what I've been up to, aside from what I frogged. I'm trying to decide if that's hamster noises or outside noises. I think it's hamster noises. So, first thing, I finished a thing. I'm pretty sure my straps are not completely even, which nope, that's right. Okay. Just trying to make sure because I have a little, there's a plastic like cover to our basement entrance right outside this window, so I'm trying to be aware. My straps are probably not very even. They might have a couple inches difference, but it's I wear it as a halter neck. So I have finished the Secret Summer Crop. I think that's what it is. So I knit the 40, the large. How did they do the sizings? Let me pull up this pattern over here because I want to be able to provide you this information. So it is the Summer Secret Crop by Jessie May Martinson of Jessie Maed Designs, and I did knit the large size for 40 to 42 inch. Yep. There's the bottom of it. There's the top of it. There's my straps that are not even, but it don't matter. Because when I tie them, they're not even. It has not been blocked. It has not been washed. I think I'm kind of waiting for just a bunch of things so I can justify throwing them all in the bathtub. Because I don't trust my washing machine right now. And even though this is... So the yarn, I'll talk about that. The yarn is Virginia Fingering from Urban Girl Designs, who is a black dyer here in Virginia. And the yarn is, I'll use the bottom here. Boop, there we go. The yarn is the Ruth Bader Ginsberg color. So it's got yellow, it's got like black and gray and bright pink. There are spots that end up very kind of peachy and orange. Yeah, all on like a cream base. So like a natural cream base. So that is Urban Girl Yarns. I have, oh, there we go. There we go. I go into the wrong camera. And there we go. Urban Girl Yarns, Ruth Bader Ginsberg on her Virginia Fingering, which is a 90-10 base of superwash merino nylon. Oh, there we go. Put it in front of my face, maybe that helps. 480 yards, 125 grams? Yeah, 125 grams. So it's a good value yarn. I have quite a bit of it left over. I recaked it after finishing the little crop. So I did, it is a smaller cake. I don't have any like normal, oh yes, this is, well, they're about the same size, but that's also a quite disheveled cake. So yeah, that it's done. It's done. It's wearable. It fits. I have a couple of fit things that I want to change with it, mostly because the back gapes weird, and I have this issue with all of the designs whenever I do a stretchy bind off for like the back. It just does not work for me in the slightest. It always ends up like way too big, and so it doesn't fit quite right. Like it doesn't sit flush against my back like I want it to. And the easiest way to fix that is to just bind off differently. With some of her other designs, I'm thinking of just sewing in a piece of elastic because I've knit the ripple crop or the ripple bralette multiple times and it just rides up on me. Even though I've knit my size, I've knit sizes down. It just, I can't get it to sit right. So the bottom band on this, my cast on is like slightly too tight, and so it sits in place. But on the ripple bralettes, I guess my cast on is just not tight enough. So the easy solution, the easy fix is to put a bit of elastic in. Got my good old energy drink because I am low energy. Next up is a recurring project. And they are my Hermione's Everyday Socks by Erica Lueder. And I am knitting it in, as always, Chromatic yarns in the Don't Be a Sad Bear on her merino sock base. It's a very lovely yarn. And so there's my little bear. You can see I've done about an inch. I think I have like an inch and a half left before I do the toe. So sock's almost done. Oh, I finally got some stuff that I didn't have here before. Finally got my sock blocker. So let me actually stick this bad boy on. And this is actually going to be an excellent way for me to explain what was wrong with the anarchy socks, the anarchist socks. So there we go. See, sock on the blocker. Now back through here, here's my heel flap, because thankfully these are also heel flap socks, but heel flapping gusset always fits my foot really nice. And you see how this sits quite flush. I mean, there's a tiny bit of room. Tiny bit of room on the sock blocker here. But for the most part, this sits against the sock blocker, which is what you want it to do. The problem was because of how deep the heel flap was, I mean, it was probably at least double the heel flap of this, it would gape really weirdly, like right here. And it was incredibly noticeable when I put it on my foot to try it on to check for like length. I was like, I don't like that, because having so much excess fabric there that's very noticeable, it's going to rub. It's going to rub. It's going to cause blisters. It's not going to be fun. But these I will finish up these. I've graduated these from not just being my travel knitting, but when I'm on Twitch, I often am knitting as well through cutscenes, because I can't sit still clearly as I'm flailing this around. So yes, Don't Be a Sad Bear. It is, again, like a cream base, and it's got sections of purple and like indigo, yeah, and black, and there are like brown speckles, and it ends up, the way that she dyes it, I guess, ends up transferring a little bit of all of that into the actual cream base, because there's, I don't know how well this will show up, but the base itself, the base color of the yarn itself has quite a bit of like purpley brownness to it, in a very pleasant way. They're like very faint speckles, and it's really pretty. But yeah, so my little gummy bears there. I've gotten that far since I last spoke to y'all. So I think it's time for me to move the bear and take the sock off the sock blocker. Back down there. And I like doing this while I'm recording, that way I don't forget. It helps also give me an idea of how far I've gotten since I last did this. It also tells you which projects I've really been working on, which ones I haven't. So, my Hermione's Everyday Sock, free pattern. And then next up, the will I show it, will I don't. I think I've decided to show it, because people's behaviors are such a complex thing, and I have the pattern, and if I want to knit a pattern, I'm going to knit a pattern, even if I don't necessarily agree with everything somebody has done. And I'll touch on this again more later. I'm also going to insert some fun clips, but like, humans are complex. So I've been knitting a Ghost Horses, there we go, there's my little horses, by Caitlin Hunter, or Boyland Knitworks. And I know she had some drama. This is in a size 4. There's some pretty horses for you. I'm lovingly calling this my ghost horses in the sky. Very, very clever. Haha. Joke, reference really to Johnny Cash. And this is knit out of 2 different colors of the Queensland collection Rainbow Beach. So the first color is number 104. Yarn Shop, I have it, or I bought it from, labels it as Moonwynd. Moonwynd, although Ravelry claims this color is called Autumn. I'll look it up. I'll give you the accurate color name below, but yeah, so this one is dark, and it really does kind of have a rainbow effect. Not that I think it will pick up perfectly. Okay, you can kind of see it. It kind of does go through a rainbow of colors. When I was looking at this yarn, this was absolutely what I wanted to do with it, which is also another reason I'm doing this. The other color, which is my background color, is the same yarn in color 103 Starfish, which looks like this. And because of how dark this is and how light this is, the contrast helps a lot. And it's really funny because the color changes are about the same. So while one has more color to it, more gradient colors to it, you can see the color changes kind of line up. It's really, really fun. So I'm knitting this as, I am knitting the size 4. I am knitting it on size 6 needles, the needles called for. I don't even know where the ends of my needles are. They should be toward the start here. It's because it's rolling real badly. Okay, I found my needles. I've located the needles are in this hand. And these guys are size 4. Yep. And I'm knitting the size 4. A little bit of my color work is puckering or just otherwise acting weird, but that should come out with a block. And because I know how the internet is, there are my floats, pretty even. The reason why my color work on the other side is doing a lot of weird puckering things is the increases, and then I have places where stitches are looser and places where stitches are tighter. Which again, when I block it, it should stop some of that. Should help ease up some of that. Yeah, there's my floats. It really shows the color variation. As for color dominance, for anyone interested, as I am knitting it, let's see. As I am knitting it, the darker yarn goes over top the lighter yarn. So I just did this, that goes over top. Do I really know how that's changing the look of it? Not really. I am catching my floats on longer ones, and I think that's what causes a lot of my loose stitches in places. Typically, if it's more than 7, I'll catch the float. If it's 7 or less, I don't really worry about it. And I'll catch between every 4 and 5 stitches. And I will stagger it. So if I have 2 rows of long floats, on the first row I might do like 4, and then so every 4 stitches I'll catch the float. Then on the next row I will do it so that there's 2 stitches between where I catch the float. So it ends up being, so I'll knit 2, catch the float, knit 4, catch the float. That way the floats are staggered like that, don't think I can find an example on here because it's just going to look like a mess. But I stagger them so they don't show up on the right side of the fabric. So yeah, I guess I need to put, because I took this off of it's my the little flying needles. Oop. Progress keeper. Face. There we go. There we go. Sort of. Yeah, flying needles, little progress keeper. I'll toss this guy on. We'll do it right in the middle of this motif. So, yeah. That's really the bulk of like the actual stuff that I have to show. I do want to, I recorded a short little like 5-minute clip, which I will probably put in about here. Hello and welcome to my little craft room tour so this room isn't complete. There's still a lot that I want to do, like paint the walls, put some stuff up, put a rug down, but this is going to be your introduction to my current little setup in here. So, flip that. We have my desk, with the laptop, yarn for everything. We have the main chair and the chair for my legs, because I can't sit normally. Random, right there, like art supplies, the yarn cubby, mostly projects I want to work on next. Let's actually come over here so you can see. It's the yarn cubby. There's the hand spun that I've done. We've got yeah, it's a lot of Knit Picks Brava for the gingham blanket. It's a cross stitch book. Then here we've got, this is a little shamrock yarn that's going to be going on the needles very soon. My 2 cones of Holst Garter. Up here we've got little D&D minis. Little Ranger here is falling down, that I've painted, as well as some pops and Legos. Above is my degree. I'm not going to put that all on display. Then we've got my pegboard with art from a tattoo artist, kind of local to me. Webcam for recording. Unpainted minis, eraser. My paints for minis, feathers in the scorpion lollipop. Paintbrushes, pencil, pen. Again, here's my messy desk situation. There's a pocket watch right there. Cup for paint water, or for watering the plant. Again, yarn. And there's sock. And over here, that's the exit out. Baby gate is up to prevent the dog from coming in. Finnegan. Navajo churro wool. The stuff in this little strainer here was set out to dry because it was washed. Everything in the box below it has not been. Projects. Then I've got a bin which has yarn in it, and the bottom 2. And the top one, it's got miscellaneous stuff, as well as what's on top. It's including hamster food. Bag, closet full of wool that I will get through at some point. Bin with a Baby Yoda partially in it, Build-A-Bears. My bookshelves, which this bottom one and half of this one, okay, not quite half of that one, but this bottom one, part of this one, are mostly yarn fiber related books. Here's a glimpse at the collection, as well as plenty of just reading books, and also books like the Antietam Campaign, Reconstruction, and Battled Freemen, Freedom. A bunch of these are books from college that I got, all sorts of like women in Italy. I got more random stuff, including a bunch of comic books I need to go through. The little hammy container.
more yarn. I need to go back through and sort this out. A bin with probably stuff that I had from school. This tote, which has fabric and yarn. It's got the gingham blanket in it currently. Yeah. So, and zip ties for making stays. Let's go visit the hammy. Oh, there she is. Here's the little hammy. Her name is May. She's winter white. She had a bad run-in with the dog. Thankfully, she came out okay and got moved in here. Oh, there she is. And she's in a bin cage, which is perfectly fine for her. I probably need to refill her little food dish, which I'll do in a little bit after this. So yeah, that's the craft room. My hair. Good. Thanks for joining me.
So that's the little craft room tour. I just paused awkwardly for 6 seconds to allow that in, which also shows off our beautiful hammy. Oh, there you see her bin. There's her bin. Our beautiful little hammy May, and just she buries a lot of her toys, so the top of her cage looks very empty. But I promise you, she's got chew toys in there. She's just buried them. And because I have a lot of this stuff in here, including my yarn caddy thing and all my books. First, I'll start with the fun part of the yarn caddy thing. I finally have all of my skeins of this Into the World that I spun. This is Into the World. I want to say it's a BFL silk. I could be wrong, in the Fen colorway, which is blues, greens, some brown and black. But I've got all of them. This one obviously got put on a knitting naughty, and these two did not. I still don't have my knitting naughty, but it will come here eventually. So yes, I have all of this, which means I can knit something. I'm thinking a hat. Some of these colors currently match my hair. We'll also talk about the hair. Yeah, so I've got all of that. And because I've got all my books and I go through this phase every now and again. First off, I've got a book called Knitting for Dogs, but just full of dog sweaters. That book is not actually on Ravelry, which that one's a fun one. If you can find it secondhand, it's a fun one. I might actually put up a picture right here of what the book looks like. It's got so many sweater patterns, and they do fit larger breeds of dogs, which when you've got like an 80-pound pit bull, you kind of need patterns for bigger dogs, and not even necessarily like taller dogs, but broader dogs. I mean, my dog's not super broad, but he still has a chest that most patterns available on like Ravelry don't work for him without me trying to fix everything. But I'm in the mood to try to design a sweater, which happens every now and again, and it has yet to happen. But I have my 200 Fair Isle Motifs book, which has like this weird, or I don't want to call it weird, but there's a shamrocky. That's not it. But there's a motif in here that they show. And I think they actually knit it in greens. Or there's a couple of them that are in here that I really like and I want to utilize. Goodness gracious. So I'm just going to keep flipping through. Oh, yeah, I was on like a trio page like this. No. But I know there's a couple in here that are that similar kind of shamrocky pattern that I would love to use on a sweater. But I have to figure out how I want to do it. What kind of sweater? Do I want it to be a cardigan? Do I want it to be... Oh, this is a much easier way to look at it with them all. And I'm not giving away much if I show you like this way. So let's see. Oh, it is like this one. Yeah, it kind of looks like a shamrock or a 4-leaf clover. Shamrock has 3 leaves. I think there was, oh, there we go. Like that one. That one's really cool. I might like combine those two. Along with something that's a little bit more simple. You know, like this one that kind of looks like vines. Like that might be really cool. So I need to work that out. I want it to be kind of like a unisex type of thing. But I have to work out yarn amounts and all that for it. I have to work out how it works first. If I can figure out that much, I will make attempts to like size it up to certain sizes. I know that I have to check the numbers of the motifs to even see if they will work together. And if they will, I will let you know. So, let's see. I mentioned problematic people, right? I do not like cancel culture. I know this happens on the internet all the time, especially in times where we have a lot of like greater issues going on in the world or in a community. And so therefore people get canceled. And like when you do work, anti-racism work, or you know, allyship, when you work toward allyship, or you're working on something else, you might block people on social media, or you might tell people to, you know, unfriend you or whatever. Pocket watch chain, picking it up. And like, there's a difference between calling somebody out and asking them to do better. There's plenty of people in this world who the simple answer is do better. Be better, do better. And telling people you're canceled, don't use this anymore. Well, sometimes you block people because you just don't like their approach, which is fine. Sometimes you block people because you've had exchanges and they were rude to you. Whatever. And I know that was the big issue with Caitlin Hunter, was she blocked somebody when she got called out for blocking someone. I want to say that they were a person of color. And it spiraled. Then like 2 minutes later, she's got a collab with a Native American creator, and it's just I don't know. I don't want to say wholeheartedly support someone when you feel like what they've done is wrong. I'm not saying go out and buy Caitlin Hunter's patterns. If that doesn't feel right to you, don't do it. But I know that if I were to go onto Instagram right now and I were to pull up her page, like, I have plenty of people who I follow who follow her. And these are also people who I generally consider to be pretty good when it comes to their work in allyship. So, yeah, she might have done something that doesn't rub you right. And if you decide after that point, I don't want to buy her patterns, you don't have to buy her patterns. I think this is not like, in the beauty community, this is not Jeffree Star, right? Where you're talking more about, it's not a Jeffree Star, it's more of like a Tati issue, where generally speaking, you can't say this person has done something terribly wrong. It's more of they did something wrong that people disagreed with, and now how are they kind of navigating from there? But the reason I didn't want to mention her back before, I wanted to make sure that she had made a stand on current issues. So currently she seems to be on a side that I agree with, so I don't mind showing the pattern. I don't mind talking about previous knits. I don't mind, plus I have the patterns. And I mean, a lot of her patterns just aren't for me, so I don't buy them. Ghost Horses I got during the drama when it was free, and it's been one of those things where it's like, I'm not really convinced I'm gonna wear this, but I have ideas to how I can make this kind of cool. Which might include me getting another skein of yarn for it, but we will see. So, I mean, it's a personal thing. It's a personal thing at the end of the day. If you decide you don't like a pattern designer because of something they've done, or you just don't like a popular pattern designer's patterns, there's nothing wrong with not buying the pattern. So, okay, that was heavy, and I'm not about to start talking more about like the Civil War and how that plays into life. But I have to say, currently the Robert E. Lee statue has had a massive improvement. It's still up, but all of the beautiful street art on it makes it a little bit better. I mean, we did yeet Columbus into a lake, so it's probably where he belongs. So, I mean, that line is going to bug me if I don't fix it. So, the other thing, the kind of noticeable thing, because my hair had faded out so much, is I got my hair recolored. It is 2 different shades of Manic Panic. My scalp is still colored because I've not really showered. The bottom color was actually Midnight Blue over whatever was existing after Midnight Blue, over whatever was already existing on my hair still. And the top was Shocking Blue. I think because of how much growth I've had and the fact that there was already color on, it doesn't show up like, it's not super bright. Interestingly enough, there is enough of a tone difference. Not even, like, I'm sure if I made everything black and white, you would not be able to really tell. Maybe a little bit, but not really. But there's enough of a green undertone that you can tell it's different than the straight blue. Watch as I fling my hair every which way. But yeah, like, I could wear it that way, and then I have the blue underneath and the kind of greeny tones on top. Yeah, that light's gonna bother me. Or I could do the blue over top. This is how my hair normally sits, so. This is 30 minutes long. It's over 30 minutes long. It's a long one. And for that, I apologize. Thank you for sticking to the end if you did. And hopefully I will have some more interesting things to show you soon. But until next time, stay healthy, wear a mask, wash your hands, stay safe, and